What up, folks, and welcome to the Kyber Culture with myself, the Apocalypse, and John Doerr. On the docket today, we just got a little bit of news going, and we'll be discussing the absolutely electric 10th episode of ANDOR. So stick around for a chat. Make sure to follow us, the Kyber Culture, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Check the links in the description. It's all there. And if you like what you're listening to, please consider leaving a rating and a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'd really appreciate it. But before we get started, how's it going, sir?
Doing pretty good. Nothing too new that I haven't already discussed in previous pods. Fucking grinding Call of Duty. It's been a very interesting experience. Can't wait for Season 1 to start on the 16th. Going to be some new content, new aesthetics, new collectibles, so to speak. That's been fun, especially playing with some of the boys. And winter's finally here. I'm hella down. Kind of dig the cold, especially if it's like cold and sunny outside.
I love it. That's what's going on that's what's going on in California right now. It is sunny outside. Like there was like a couple days where the rain was pretty crazy, but now it's just 60, 65. It's love it.
You guys got like 4 inches in like a really short period of time. That's what my dad was telling me. But yeah, I mean, the rain up here, not very rare. The sun up here in the wintertime, early winter, late winter, very rare. Feels nice. But yeah, man, nothing too crazy going on here. What about you? I know you get in a little God of War Ragnarok over there.
Oh, we absolutely got a little bit of God of War Ragnarok going on. Like, usually I would spend my weeks, like, editing episodes of the podcast, but I'm like, okay, listen, we got God of War Ragnarok running, trying to make time for both, these days I treat myself, quote unquote, to like maybe 30, 45 minutes of game time, like before I go to sleep. So I haven't gotten through much of God of War Ragnarok yet, but just like quick initial reaction. I mean, it's like, what is there to say that already that hasn't been said? The game is gorgeous. I haven't played 2018 God of War in since, I don't know, maybe it's been like a year or two. I remember most of the controls, like switching between weapons, I'm still like kind of iffy on, just because, you could use either the axe or the blades of chaos, and I'm just like, okay, which one do I want to use? And I know like both weapons are like better for using specific enemies, but I just don't know which enemy I'm going to approach. So I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just use the axe first. But no, it's awesome. I think I've only gotten through like the first chapter right now, but I already got to fight Thor, which was very fun. I was not expecting to fight Thor that quick. I haven't gotten through much of it yet, but looking forward to playing some more. Tomorrow's Sunday, and I don't have much else going on, so I'm gonna actually like try to like sit down and just play video games all day. I can't wait for something like that.
Fuck yeah.
For now, though, because here's the other thing about the game. And this isn't like a negative critique about it or anything. It's just like an observation that I have. And it just reminded me of the days when I played Spider-Man PS4, and then maybe like a year or so later, the Miles Morales Spider-Man game came out. And I was just a little bummed on that, because I was like, oh, this is like a full price game, but like the story is like 20 hours of gameplay. So I was just like, all right, well, this is just a glorified DLC. Now, God of War Ragnarok does not feel like a glorified DLC, but I mean, like, it's all like for now, it still takes place within the same area, just everything's covered in snow. And some things are different here and there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I guess that just kind of happens whenever you make a sequel to a game.
Your mind will get blown at some point in the game, for sure.
No, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that I will be like shocked at some things, you know what I mean? Like, and I have no idea where the story's going to go. That's something that I really like about it. The story starts off, it's like you really start to feel for Loki, mostly because like I don't want to say a whole lot of stuff. Actually, if you guys never played fucking 2018 God of War.
But if you haven't played, that's come on, it's on PC.
It came out a long time ago. Sorry. I really am curious where they want to take that. We'll see how it goes. I'm loving it so far.
I hope Mimir is hilarious as always.
Oh, Mimir is great. I don't think I've gotten to the point where he tells a lot of stories yet, but he's like classic Mimir. aside from that, I'm going to New York in a few weeks, like confirmed. Going with my parents. It's going to be fun. I hope to visit. I don't know if any of my coworkers listen to this podcast. I know some of them, or one of them wants to try to. She's a big supporter of mine. And she also like edits podcasts and stuff like as a side hustle. So we always talk about podcasting. Yeah, big shout out. I don't think she listens, so I'm not going to say her name. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of my coworkers. I look forward to visiting the old HQ. That's going to be fun. But yeah, other than that, everything's business as usual. No complaints. But yeah, before we move on, let's take a just real quick short break for some ads. All right, and we're back. Let's talk a little bit of news. So, Aaron, what do you remember of Gears of War?
Dude, honestly, not a lot.
You don't remember a lot?
No.
Honestly, I don't remember too much either. The only things I remember was like it was pretty cool. Like I just remember it as the game where you're just like this big burly dude and you fight monsters, but the coolest thing about it was that you had this crazy ass gun that had a chainsaw on the end of it. Yeah. You know, that was like the most badass thing. And also the very first Gears of War cinematic trailer. That shit is all time.
I do remember a little bit of the trailer. And yes, the game was also super bloody, super gory, super violent. I think the reason why I don't remember a lot about it or didn't play a lot of the series is just because like that shit was so M-rated that when it first came out, my parents were like, they were like, nah. But also I was playing, which isn't that much less M-rated, but like I was playing Call of Duty, I was playing Halo. Like I was like, I feel like when Gears of War came out, there was like this, or maybe a little bit after it came out, there was like this divide of like, oh, yo, what kind of Xbox player are you, dude? Like, are you a Halo guy? You a Gears of War guy? You Call of Duty guy? You know, like,
was he? Wait, that was really the thing. That was the divide. It was either Gears of War or Halo.
Well, it was more of like, okay, you got an Xbox. You're an Xbox gamer, but like, what do you play though? Is the thing.
I see.
Not necessarily those three games pitted against each other. That's just kind of how I viewed it when I was younger. I was like, nah, I'm like Halo 2 all day. Fucking Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. Nah, those are my jams right there. Modern Warfare 2. But your piece of news, though, I am excited for. I'll send it back to you.
Gotcha. Okay, so Gears of War, Netflix. We're getting a Gears of War Netflix film and a Gears of War adult animated series. This sounds very exciting. One of the first things that came to my mind. Are you familiar with the characters?
No. Well, I mean, like visually, yes, I'm familiar with the main character, but
yeah. So the main character, the main dude, big burly dude. His name is Marcus Phoenix. This has been like a fan cast for a very long time, and it would be such a fat L on Netflix's part if they didn't do this. But you gotta toss Dave Bautista in there as Marcus Phoenix. Like, there's fan art of him out there, and he is the part. You know, like, how could you not? And it was really cool just because, like, I think he himself really wants the role as well. I think he talked about it, like, even beforehand, how he would love to do a live action Gears of War. Like, before this was announced, before it was a thing, like, he would love to do it. And once it was officially announced, like, Gears of War, or like Netflix was moving forward with the Gears of War, like, you know, visual media stuff, Dave Bautista put out this video of him like opening up like a case of like the Gears of War armor, and like he put it on and stuff. He's not involved at all, and he's just putting this video out into the universe. It's just like, hey, like, I'm here and I'm ready to do like the Gears of War live action stuff. And I'm just like, dude, Dave Bautista's for the people. Like, he knows what's up. But yeah, man, it's literally just perfect casting, and it's got to happen, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think it needs to be like, I think it's perfect for him too, because it doesn't need to be this like crazy acting performance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know much about like the story of Gears of War, or like the lore that's behind it, or like any of the arcs. I assume that they are not the best parts about the games. Like, best parts about those games are like the combat and the action, and more on the gameplay side of things rather than, you know, the story. So I think it'd be perfect for him. And he's, you know, going from Drax to fucking Marcus Phoenix, you know, that
it's perfect,
right? It's perfect.
It's perfect. But yeah, so looking forward to it. I feel like there is a shift happening in the video game adaptation to TV show film realm. I think it's mostly because, like, I'm looking at The Last of Us right now. The Last of Us being developed by HBO. That comes out in January. Like, stuff like that. I think the fault of a lot of, like, past video game adaptations is that the original developers weren't involved in the, like, creation of it. And Last of Us, fucking Neil Druckmann is like an executive producer, and he's like fully involved with the process. And he's like one of the main dudes behind Last of Us, you know?
Yeah.
That's like his baby. And so I feel like The Last of Us is going to be like the first push to actually creating like quality video game adaptation content. And so I'm hopeful for Gears of War. Like, Netflix just announced it. It's like, okay, we're going to try making it, you know? But I'm curious as to see like who actually gets involved with it all. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
If nothing else, is if we get some crazy visuals, some crazy fucking
action.
Yeah, that, you know, I'm there for it.
But okay, cool. That's Gears of War. Next little piece of news. I don't know how much you know about this. There's very little about this, but John Wick as a franchise is like, you know, got Keanu Reeves. We have 3 John Wick movies, but they're already starting to do spin-offs. And the first John Wick spin-off is titled Ballerina, and it stars Ana de Armas. I'm trying to think what you might know her in. You saw No Time to Die.
Yeah,
she was.
I know who she is.
Yeah, she was Paloma in that.
I know who she is. Very little, but I do know who she is.
Gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. But yeah, so she's going to lead the John Wick spinoff. It was also announced earlier this week that Keanu Reeves will be in the film. So that's very exciting. And I think Ana de Armas is kind of like on the come up, because even though her time in No Time to Die was very short, I thought like her action scenes were very good. And I think she can do some very cool like action stunts for, when you say John Wick, there's like a certain caliber of action sequences, or you have to be good at it, you know? Yeah. So I'm like really looking forward to this to see what she could do, because like, you know, if you see all of her other movies, like you would be surprised to like say like, oh, she's going to star in an action movie? No way. But yeah, so we'll see about that. But in other John Wick news, we got a new John Wick 4 trailer. So John Wick Chapter 4, what did you think about this trailer?
It's badass, man.
Dude, it is so fucking sick.
The stakes, like the stakes are just gonna be so fucking high. The action's gonna be better than it's been in all the previous movies. Like even just seeing fucking Keanu Reeves fucking deflect bullets with a goddamn katana, fighting Shirut. What's his name? Is it Don? That's not Donnie Yen.
It is Donnie Yen.
That's Donnie Yen. Shirut.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and then you know we got fucking. I mean, Morpheus, the guy who plays Morpheus was in
Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. Like the acting, the casting, it looks fucking fantastic. And you know, just Keanu Reeves is like totally absorbing this role as John Wick and is having a fantastic fucking time doing it. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a crazy showdown with like fucking old school ass fucking revolvers, you know, like for him to get out of the table. I think is that what they called it? The table? Or whatever like the society is.
Yeah, the society. I forget the name of the society. I should probably know that. Is it the Continental? It might be the Continental might be like the name of like the place that they stay. But there's an actual name for the secret group, like Society of Assassins or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think based off of where John Wick 3 left off, he has to like clear his name because like everybody's kind of after him. And he has to clear his name by fighting, I think it's Bill Skarsgård. At least watching this trailer, that's kind of what I got from this. Like, they're like, you have to find him and you have to face him like one-on-one, man-to-man combat. And I'm like, damn, dude, what the fuck? It's like modern day assassin shit, but I feel like this group of assassins, like I feel like they can make a John Wick spinoff that ages back like decades, like middle time shit.
Like it's like a generational thing.
Yeah. It's like why are you using old ass revolvers? It's just like, oh well, this is the old ways. Like this is how they handled it back in the day. I'm like, that's pretty sick. You know? I'm really looking forward to this one. I mean, this is like just one of those movies where it's just like, okay, like There's no like. Actually, I feel like this is gonna be the first one out of all the John Wick movies where I'm like really interested into like the story. You know, like are they gonna have like an actual like compelling story for this one? And not to say that the previous 3 John Wick movies didn't have like I feel like the story and the writing was like very basic, and like what you watched the John Wick movies for was for the crazy action sequences. And I feel like this one's gonna have like both of those things. You know. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm fucking pumped for it. It comes out in March 2023. But okay, let's move on here. One last piece of news: Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm. This was like an announcement that happened a few days ago, and then maybe like a day later, they're like the Grogu short film is the Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm collaboration that we announced. And I was like, oh, that was it. You know, it's like, and I'm not mad at it. I was mostly just like when they announced it, my mind just like started racing. I was just like, okay, like that just means they're gonna do some shit for Star Wars Visions. I was like, damn, I really want that shit. Like, give Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm like a full season of Star Wars Visions. That would be fucking amazing. And I hope this isn't the end of like Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm doing stuff together. Like, I'd be a little let down if this was it. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. But the collaboration was the Grogu short film, and it's titled Zen, Grogu, and the Dust Bunnies. So let's talk about it real quick. You know, it's like a 3-minute short film. All I can really say about it is that it was super cute. Like, Grogu's just meditating. We got the gorgeous Grogu theme song composed by Ludwig Göransson just going on to the entire thing. And yeah, no, like, I mean, some dust things just kind of bother his meditation, but the animation is, of course, gorgeous, but it's hand drawn, which makes it, like, you know, all the more like impressive. But yeah, just super wholesome, super cute, and not really much else to say about it. I mean, it's 3 minutes. Like, if you have like a quick 3 minutes, like you're sitting in the drive-thru for some shit, you know, watch it. Yeah, did you like this short film?
I did.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's harmless.
Yeah, it's harmless, and it was
an easy 5 out of 5. You know?
It is prime time. Like, it was pretty much to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of The Mandalorian, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Today, what's today? November 12th. 3 years ago today, first episode of The Mandalorian premiered, and Disney Plus went live. Fucking
it's
nuts.
like a triple entendre. It was like the first live action Star Wars show,
yeah,
the release of Disney Plus, and the birth of The Mandalorian as a series. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, fucking crazy.
Nice little head nod, you know? But yeah, no, I thought it was really cute. Any time you put Studio Ghibli behind something, I'm like, all right, my like creative, I gotta turn on the creative fucking interpretive part of my mind, like, as much as I possibly can. How can I do that in 3 minutes of animation? I don't know. I'm not the most creative person, very logical, but it's just cute. You know, it's a really good salute, head nod to Grogu and the Mandalorian. Just like a little pause. Let's pause on Star Wars for a second, but
take
celebrate
a little break. Yeah.
for 3 minutes.
Grogu rocks. The first Grogu solo project.
First Grogu solo project. Also, the only other being of Yoda's species that we've seen. Well, Tales of the Jedi, actually.
Shouts to Yaddle. Hashtag
Yaddle, dude.
for Yaddle.
Yaddle's fucking best, dude. Yaddle is pog. But yeah, no, love it. I feel like my opinions on Grogu were very like strong at first, but I was like, nah, he's too cute.
Guy.
I've never interpreted a puppet's gestures and cooing and cawing to English so much in my life. But yeah, I loved it, man. 5 out of 5. Easy, like you said.
Easy 5 out of 5. I
Yeah.
mean, why would you rate it any less? You know? I'll say this real quick too. Just talk about 5s out of 5s. I usually reserve those for like if something was done like extremely well, or if it's like a game changer. And you know, there's never been a Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm collaboration. So
Game changer.
Game changer. That'll do it for Studio Ghibli and Lucasfilm and the Grogu short film. So let's get into ANDOR episode 10. Let me just start this off. this is top tier Star Wars shit.
Fucking rocks, dude.
Fucking rules. It fucking rips. It's perfection. And it's honestly like, how is it that Andor just gets better with every episode? It's insane. Like, I feel like I say that a lot of
linear. It's perfectly linear.
Yeah. There's no way that they don't land the final 2 episodes. Honestly, like this penultimate episode of a lot of things, like Game of Thrones is like the highlight for that, like second to last episodes before the season finale. Like, but I feel like this will be insanely strong. You know, like I just don't get it. Like the penultimate episode is just going to be fucking nuts, and the finale is probably just going to be just as crazy. But this one, oh my gosh, this episode is like just fucking gorgeous. And I don't want to like try reaching too early in my thoughts, but when I look at just like the costume design of things, and that I look at like the costume design of the prisoners, like what they wear, it's orange and white.
It's the color of the rebellion.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I wonder if this is the origin of it. Yeah. You know, like this is why they wear orange and white. It is because of this group of prisoners. And I'm just like, I don't know, like maybe, like that would be so fucking cool. You know, I was just thinking about that. And I mean, this episode kind of flashes like back and forth between the prison, but after the prison, we got Mon Mothma, probably in the most, like, with Mon Mothma and her trying to do all these deals, like she's playing checkers while like the other people that she's talking to are playing chess.
Yeah.
But then when she meets this Davo guy, he's playing a completely different game.
She knows who he is.
Yeah, like, she knows who she is, or who he is. Like, you know, I think she talked about him in the episode prior. He's like, oh no, he's a thug. Like, why would I try to meet with this guy? They finally meet, and the fact that he wasn't looking for like monetary compensation, like he straight up says like, no, I don't care about money. And then she's like, okay, well, what kind of payment do you want? Because like, I'd rather pay you for your trouble. He's like, okay, well, like I would like my son to meet your daughter. This is the first time that I've seen Mon Mothma all throughout the series just so bamboozled and just so like thrown, you know, because all throughout it seemed like she kind of had like control of every situation. Well, unless she's talking to Luthen or something.
Yeah.
Like when she's interacting with Luthen, she's like, oh no, you're doing too much. And then she runs into this guy who is not really for the rebellion, but it's like she has to step out of her lane with Luthen and with this guy. It's almost like she's not really ready for either of these scenarios, even though like she knows that she like hates the Empire, but she's like stepping out of her comfort zone with both of them, it was really interesting to me. What'd you think about this?
No, man, it's kind of the theme of this entire episode, sacrifices, like literally like just sacrifices all across the board. I mean, it's the theme of the show for sure, but this is the first time that Mon Mothma can't hold her like alter ego persona. She's just fucking pissed. She's like, no fucking shot, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But you know she's going to do it. And it's even more fucked to know that she's going to do it because she doesn't have a great relationship with her daughter. And it makes you just feel so much worse about it. And it's even more fucked because they're from the same planet. Like they're all Chandrilans. They're all from the same culture.
That's the reason why she's so against it, because she like grew up with that.
And she doesn't like it. Like she had like one line of dialogue or monologue that was like, that doesn't mean like I approve of this tradition.
I like what Davos said, like right before he left. He was like, just think about my offer. And she's like, I'm not thinking about it. And then he was like, that's the first untrue thing he said, because he knows you have to be thinking about it. There's no way. Like if you want this to work, you have to consider this, you know?
You're looking that pissed about this offer. There's no way you're not thinking about it.
Like that's like the thing about Mon Mothma in this, because she's so like, she just still feels like she can play it safe. And that's like the whole thing, is that like you can't try to play it safe, especially when you're dealing with this dude here.
This is her turning point into getting on Luthen's level, making big sacrifices. This is going to be the first big sacrifice that she makes for sure.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. It's so tense.
Very tense. And like, you know, Genevieve O'Reilly, like the way, like after she walks away, like just the look on her face, and just, incredible performance in this scene. But yeah, let me pass it to you real quick. What did you like about the episode?
Everything. Like you called it, Dude, you called it gorgeous. There were so many good shots in this fucking episode. Like,
it looks great. It looks so
dude,
good.
It looks amazing. The first shot that comes to mind is looking down on Narkina, and then you can see all of them swimming away. Is just like, that shot is insane.
And it's also, it's powerful, you know?
It's so powerful. Like, I was crying. I was watching it on my phone at work.
And the score is so good.
It's beautiful. Like, it's not, there's no like dissonant kind of like unharmonic part of that score. Whereas like all the previous scores are just kind of like dark, dreary. They don't sound heroic. You know what I mean? But this one's like, it's starting to sound like the rebellion. It's starting to sound hopeful. That's what it is. It's starting to sound like hope. Everything about it's perfect. Like you said, costume design, everything white with a little bit of orange. Yeah. But no, absolutely fantastic. And kind of what you were alluding to earlier is, it's so ironic that Cassian Andor was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but this is exactly what needed to happen to him to create this giant spark in the rebellion. Because like you were saying, everyone in this who escaped from this prison, well, we don't actually know.
It's possible that like
we
this
know
is
that
like
two of them, but we don't know if everyone escapes. But everyone was on board. They're like, no. And there's no way that you move forward from this episode and say that anybody who escaped that prison is not down for the rebellion once the pieces are kind of put together. Because nobody in that prison knows, especially the inmates that were on his cell floor or like in his little room. They don't know anything about him. Like, he's under a pseudonym, right? Like, they don't know that. But
Keef
once they find out,
I don't know.
Yeah, Keef, which is funny because it just makes me think of Grief Karga. I think it's Keef Garga. It's something like that. So something like that. But no, like there's no shot that this isn't a story that reaches across all corners of the galaxy to like all the rebels and the Empire. That's like, all right, this is organized. This isn't just like kind of they allude to it in Rebels as well. Like, these aren't just like unorganized small rebel cells. Like, this is a lot more powerful than we know, speaking from the Empire's perspective.
Yeah, and I do want to mention real quick too, I think Narkina 5 is the planet itself, and on the planet, they're on one of the prisons. And when they first got there, like, it was a shot of like just the water, and there are like, I want to say like 5 other prison cells. Like, I mean, I'm just going to assume, I don't think it's true, but I'm just going to assume that not only did their prison escape, but like, what if, like, you know, because one of them, the one that they were in specifically, had 5,000 people.
Well, yeah, because he's like, oh, one floor got fried. That's 100 people.
Yeah.
Multiply that by at least 5 floors.
Yeah.
That's 500.
Yeah.
And then multiply that by other sections of the prison. Like, yeah, probably like 5,000.
And there are multiple prisons within like equidistant away from each other. You know what I mean? So like, it's possible that this could have happened at every single one of them. Yeah. So these like prison cells could possibly be like the backbone of the soldiers for the rebellion, you know? Dude,
and it's, I think, to like add some more just kind of substance to your theory, is how did information spread across just that one from floor to floor when they literally cannot communicate with each other? Yeah. Somebody's going to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like because they're stuck in the literally exact same routine for so fucking long, if one thing is out of place, they are going to notice it. Yeah. And they're going to think about it and start connecting dots. And yeah, it's so good. But to cap off my thoughts, think the only other big talking point about this episode is just Luthen. You know, the dialogue that we got.
Can we save it? Can we save it?
We can save it. Oh yeah,
let's save it till the end.
I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, that shit gets me fired up too. But I want to talk about Andy Serkis real quick. Andy Serkis is the fucking man. His speech over the intercom, like, you know how, you know, you could hear Andy Serkis's voice like when it's like focused on him, but when it's like, because the intercom like distorts your voice a little bit all throughout the prison. When it was like the distorted voice, like all throughout the prison, I can't lie, he sounded like Snoke a little bit. I could hear the Snoke, you know. But either way,
fucking, he was like the actor that played Snoke.
Yeah, he was. But like, like, because the intercom puts like this weird like effect on your voice and makes it like a little deeper.
It's like the Kylo Ren effect.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, that sounds like Snoke. So I couldn't let it go. But his speech fucking pumped me up. And like his whole thing was like the one way out. I was like, damn, I'm fucking like, I've never hated the Empire so much in my life. Like, I've never wanted to like stick it to the Empire so much. The thing about this speech that I liked a lot was the fact that Cassian has a way with words that inspire like his partners and his colleagues, because at the beginning of the episode, he told, what do you say?
Kino.
He told Kino, I'd rather die fighting them than giving them what they want. And for one, bar, fucking bars. But that's cool just because like he told that to Kino at the beginning of the episode, and then Kino repeats that in his speech. That's like it's a nice little parallel to Rogue One, because in Rogue One, when he's first like, running around with Jyn, he tells her rebellions are built on hope. And she repeats that line towards the end of the film. I'm just like, damn, Cassian got bars. Like he's inspiring his people. And I loved that. I love that so much. And after the speech, the entire episode was just so uplifting afterwards. Like you see the prisoners all running out, like they're all pumped up, like they're all screaming one way out. Like it's all very hopeful, but it's kind of dark at the same time, just because like you see them running and some people are stumbling over. And I wouldn't be surprised if like some of these folks were like, some of the prisoners were like dying because they're getting trampled on, because everybody's like so like strung up on getting out. It was a great scene. The thing that really brought me down was fucking Kino. I can't swim. Like, dude, come on, dude. You can't pump me up like this and say he can't swim. Okay, if he doesn't survive, I'm not gonna be mad at the show, but I'm gonna be so mad if he doesn't survive.
This is the way you kill him off.
Yeah, I mean, come on, please let this man live. Please let Cassian fucking rescue him or something. Like, I wish they had like a ship or something, but gosh, Kino. Come on, that's my guy. Like, how are you going to pump everybody up just to not be able to escape yourself? And I do want to say, the Hollywood Reporter, Tony Gilroy, one of the creators of the show, he said, he was in an interview, and this is him, I quote, "He's not dead. Is he dead? I don't see him dying." That's what Tony Gilroy said. That's what Tony Gilroy said about Kino. Maybe there's a chance. We don't know. I hope he fucking lives, but we'll see. After the exhilarating prison break, that brings us to the Luthen monologue. This was crazy because like by the time that prison break ended, we got that beautiful shot of everybody swimming away. The episode isn't over quite yet. I was like, okay, if it ended like with them swimming away, I think I would have been happy. I would have been like, okay, this regardless, great episode of TV. This is good. But then they had to give us this whole scene in the depths of Coruscant. And I was just like, okay, what's happening here? What
the
are we
lower
doing?
levels, man.
The lower levels of Coruscant. Something we didn't really talk about was there's a scene with Deidre, a scene with another Imperial officer. His name is Lonnie. This was at the beginning. We find out that Lonnie is one of Luthen's like inside guys in the Empire. We get an amazing Luthen monologue that I just found to be so powerful. I'm going to cut in the audio right here just that you guys can listen to it.
And what do you sacrifice?
Calm. Kindness, kinship. Love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago from which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, they set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I looked down, there was no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything! You'll stay with me, Lonnie. I need all the heroes I can get.
Okay, so what did you think about the monologue?
So fucking good, man. I was not expecting this.
I wasn't expecting it either. I was like, God damn. That was like, this is like the, like, you know, original Star Wars stuff. It's always like light versus dark. There's never like the in-between stuff. This is something that I always knew that ANDOR was going to be about. It was going to be, or this is something that, like, you know, that we got a taste of in Rogue One. If not a taste, but like a, you know, we got like a main course and like ANDOR is, I guess, dessert. I don't know. But the nitty gritty and the gray area of the rebellion, this was the defining part of it. Like this monologue from Luthen was, go ahead. What did you think of it?
Fucking so good. Even just from the beginning of the scene, I kind of forgot who this guy was as the elevator's going up to 215.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then as you know, he gets the earpiece that's tucked away, like on a shaft that's like on the top of the elevator. And he starts talking to Luthen, and you're like, oh shit, this is some serious shit about to happen right here. And then it's not until they start having like mostly Luthen talking, but I'm like, oh fuck, this is one of the ISP officers. What? Like, what's happening here? And just like the question that Lonnie poses to Luthen, you're like,
it's like, what do you sacrifice?
Yeah, it's like, because Lonnie has like a wife and he's got a son on the way, or son.
He has a kid.
Yeah, he's got a kid, and you're like, fuck, like, how is like? There's this like brief moment that feels like a lifetime of like, how the fuck is Luthen going to respond to this question of like, what are you sacrificing? Because Luthen's just like so mysterious prior to this, and Luthen just fucking
he lights him up, dude.
He lights him up. He basically like, well, one of the main things that he basically says to Lonnie is like, oh, you got a wife? You got a son? I forgoed all of that by making this commitment that I made 15 years ago. Like, I don't have that luxury. I cannot do that. I can't really enjoy life as a normal person anymore because of the commitment that I've made to this cause. That is like the anthem of the rebellion. I feel like this is like the national anthem. It's so good. I can't really like say any of it verbatim, but
I'll just say that I'll try to throw out a couple quotes, but one of them that I really liked, and I saw this on Twitter. I forget the Twitter person that tweeted this out, but they tweeted, "I burned my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see." And then they put a picture of Luke staring at the twin suns. I'm like, yo, damn. That shit's tough. I was like, damn. That shit's hard. You know, like he builds like what Luthen is doing. Like it's very like dark. What he's doing is honestly like a little evil in ways, because he also says like, I'm damned to use the tools of my enemy or something like that. And I just love it. I love it. And he even accepts it. He's like, I'm damned for what I do. It's over for me, but I know that what I'm doing is going to be for the greater good.
Yeah, he's like taking what the Empire does and
just
taking it to a whole
He's using the
level.
same tools against them.
You think this rebellion's all pretty? We're all just gonna like, you know, grab some blasters and like some armor and stuff and form masses of, you know, some soldiers and fight back? No, that's not how it's done. It's done in the trenches. Some very non-Star Wars themed stuff. It's fucking fantastic. I feel like this could have been episode 11, so I'm very, very fucking curious to see what episode 11 is going to be.
One more thing. I pulled up the whole monologue. The opening sentence of it is so, because when you think of Star Wars, when you especially when you think about A New Hope, it's all about like hope and like light at the end of the tunnel. Like it's all optimism. It's all like hero's journey. We know they're going to pull through at the end. The opening sentence to this is the complete opposite of that. The opening sentence to his monologue is just so here's what he says. If you listen to the monologue that I inserted, you'll know this. He starts out by saying, what do I sacrifice? I sacrifice calm, kindness, kinship, and love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless place. Isn't that just not what the Jedi way is at all?
It's literally almost the opposite.
It's like dark side shit, but he's like, look, like, I fucking hate the Empire, though, and this is what I have to do. I really like Luthen's story, and I'm curious to see. I really want to know where he ends up in all of this, just because it's like, yeah,
he's gonna die somewhere. Very curious to know how and when.
Like the context of like how he dies and like what is it that he does that. How does he like? I feel like his death has to be important, and like he dies, and it sets like a chain reaction of events. Yep. You know,
I think it's going to be like he has an option to not die, but he chooses to die, and it just like inspires like all this hope, just snowballs into A New Hope, Rebels. The story moving forward.
Yeah, Luthen, great character. I can't lie to you. When I first watched this episode, I texted you about it too. I have an Apple Watch now. Really random sidebar, but I have an Apple Watch, and one of my goals every day is to fill the rings of my Apple Watch. Before I threw on the episode, I checked my Apple Watch. I was like, oh, I'm like a few calories away from, filling my move circle or whatever. I turned this episode of Andor on, and I filled the ring within like the first like opening like 10-15 minutes of it. I was like, oh fuck, like this is some shit right here. But yeah, no, so one more detail on this episode, and then we can wrap it up. And this is something like that's even apparent in Rogue One. I think twice throughout Andor, we hear some characters talking about, okay, climb. You have to climb out of here. And in Rogue One, I think it's K2SO that keeps telling Cassian to climb. And then in this, I think during the Aldhani arc, like when Cassian is in the ship and all the meteors are going, and he's like, I can't fly anywhere. And then the dude with the manifest was like, just keep climbing, like get out of here. In this episode, I think it's Kino that's telling like all the prisoners to climb, keep climbing. Like, and it just makes me think about like, everyone's just telling them to like, rise up against the Empire. You know what I mean? And I just think that's amazing.
It's so thematic. It's perfectly done, but it's so nuanced, I feel like, in Andor compared to Rogue One. Because in Rogue One, it's just, it's already fucking
it's the end of all this kind of,
Yeah. It's the end to go on to a new beginning. It's so well done. These last two episodes are going to be fucking so good. I have no doubt in my mind that these next two episodes are going to be fucking amazing. Zero doubt.
Yeah, no.
Like you said.
They have to land it. They have to. There's no way they don't. I'm just like, come on, you guys got this. I really like The Mandalorian. I really do. But if it fucking... Actually, I'll reserve my, like, comparing the two shows, like, which one is better, until season 2 of Andor ends.
I think that's pretty fair. Season 2 of Mandalorian is way better than season 1.
Yeah.
Well, so, we gotta have 2-2, 2v2.
Yeah, 2v2. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, man, this show is honestly perfection so far. I had it at a 4.5 first, but this episode pushed it to a 5 out of 5 for me. Like, it's a game, like, I consider it a game changer, not only for Star Wars, but a game changer for, like, Disney Plus shows in general.
And
it is fucking nuts.
As long as the audience is giving their feedback on some sort of platform, this is definitely propelling the future of Star Wars in such a good direction.
Absolutely.
An amazing one.
As far as like to what the type of shit that they can do. The thing that I kind of like about Andor so far is that people are low key sleeping on it. No one, I think that's because like I think Star Wars fans know that it's like actually like fucking quality shit, like not even like just like as a Star Wars project, but just as like a TV show in general. It is fucking nuts. But yeah, so any other thoughts on episode 10 of Andor?
Magnificent.
Magnificent.
It's
it was a masterpiece. The show rips. That's all I can really say. Episode 10 fucking rips. Folks, if you haven't watched Andor and you've been listening to this podcast, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not really a Star Wars fan, I think this appeals to people that aren't Star Wars fans. I'd say like the only required viewing, not even required. I don't think you have to watch much else. I think the only thing that you have to know, well, I guess you have to watch fucking maybe the prequels a little bit. Like, you definitely need to know a little history about where this show takes place in the timeline. But no, I think it's very appealing to normies. But yeah, Andor, aces. Fucking aces. Anywho, that's gonna do it for this episode. But until the next pod, follow the Kyber Culture on socials. Follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, the whole thing. And until the next pod, may the force be with you.
One way out.
One way out. One way out. Peace.
Peace.